What's up, guys? Faruqi Bros here, back with another video. And today, for you guys, we're going to be discussing a recent trade report from Variety concerning all things DCEU. This was a pretty mega piece. For people who don't know, Variety is one of the few trades in the business, meaning most of their sources come directly from the studio. So, for good or bad, you can read all this info that I'm about to say through the eyes that Warner Brothers specifically wanted this out there. So, let's go through all the news. I guess the first step is let's talk about Superman. Basically, they've confirmed that Warner Bros. Is looking for a high-profile director to take the reins of Superman, and they've been talking to a few people, but the main person that they're zeroing in on is J.J. Abrams. We all know J.J. Abrams is obsessed with Superman. As a fan, he loves the character, and he's been eyeing the project himself for some time. He also joined Warner Brothers Studios for a multifaceted deal. And in that deal, you can assume that DC Comics was a big part of it. So Superman was one of the things that were discussed with him. We don't know what his vision is. We don't know if he's planning to continue in the DCEU footsteps or if he wants to go like Matt Reeves and make a reboot. We don't know what he wants to do. But for people who love Henry Cavill as Superman, JJ almost casted Henry himself for his canceled Superman movie, which was supposed to come out before Superman Returns. So he already wanted Henry Cavill as Superman back in the day. So one can assume that if he does take the role again, he would want to at least look at Henry Cavill as a potential Superman for his film. So we'll start at that point first, and we'll keep moving forward. And I'll start with Zion. What do you think about J.J. Abrams as Superman? And then, you know what? Before we do that, let me give you more information that Michael B. Jordan also met with Warner Brothers, but this was early in the year, to discuss Superman, either on a directing level or an acting level, where there was nothing serious, but Jordan did tell him about his vision. Like, what is Jordan's personal vision for Superman? They discussed that. But Jordan also said that he's not going to commit to the project, which is probably not even going to come out till 2023 at the earliest. So, all that in mind, give me your thoughts on DC's direction with Superman going forward.
Well, I know we discussed this multiple times in the past with J.J. Abrams being like the guy to lead Superman to like in this new DC world. Obviously, we don't know what Henry Cavill's situation is. He's in flux if he's Superman or not. Most likely, he's not going to be, as pretty much all of us know. Michael B. Jordan, there's so many rumors in the past as far as him being Clark Kent or like Val Zod. We don't know what kind of capacity his character, his Superman would be in this universe. But I think regardless, I think J.J. Abrams is a good choice to lead the Superman film. Make it a more, I think obviously a much more safer film compared to some of the films we've seen recently with Superman. And there's still so much time before anything happens. I wouldn't be surprised if we didn't hear any more news for a while about Superman specifically. But just hearing that there are finally talks happening at Warner Brothers and discussions about a Superman film is exciting, because before this, really Superman was in like some kind of like stasis or flux where we didn't know what the situation was or if there was any future for him.
I think is Henry Cavill always wanted to do a more lighthearted, optimistic Superman. I think J.J. Abrams will probably, if he chooses to stay within that route, I think his film, like his interpretation, will also kind of be similar to that. I think him and Henry Cavill are a pretty good pairing from like how they view, like how they might want to go about actually making a Superman movie. So like I think keeping Henry Cavill would be great. I think for the fans, as we all know, like when there's reports about him not being Superman, like people went crazy, Twitter went crazy. So you already know that people want him to stay as Superman, even the people that didn't like the previous movie. So I think that's the one thing that all the fans are united on, where they do want to see Henry Cavill in the cape again, and he also wants to do it. So, and then J.J. Abrams as a director is not bad. He's a pretty good director. So, let's see what happens. I'm excited that Superman is at least a conversation again.
Yeah.
I mean, the character is actually, I know for me and Strauss is probably our favorite. So,
And just to interject, I want to ask Zion this question because you have never been that hot on The Force Awakens, and you yourself have said in previous podcasts we talked about Rise of Skywalker that, oh, don't get your hopes up. So, and that's also J.J. Abrams. So you said right now you have all the faith in J.J. Abrams.
Star Wars is different. Star Wars is different because since it's one like little universe, like it's a contained thing. It's not like Superman where you can pull out any adaptation or make your own story based on 80 years of content. Star Wars is, all right, this stuff happened, and now if this is the final thing of this saga, if you don't hit on the right notes,
but you don't 100% trust JJ to hit on the right notes
because we've seen what he did with Star Wars. But that doesn't mean Superman is different. Superman's not like you have to hit certain things. He can create the Superman story he wants.
If he chooses to stay within the DCU, it's not different then because he's still gonna have to like. There's things that are already set. He's not gonna break things that.
He's not gonna do that. Yeah, meaning he's not gonna do Death of Superman again. He's not gonna do a new Zod. He's gonna continue that world.
Well, he might not do a new thing, new this, new that, but it could be like a Matt Reeves thing. Maybe he's like, if I'm doing a Superman film, I want all the creative freedom. I want it to be separate. I want to make my own thing.
Yeah, I could see him recasting. I could see him recasting Lex Luthor.
Why would he? I'm willing to give him a chance.
Like, would you rather see Christopher McQuarrie's version, or would you rather wait for JJ?
Okay, in that kind of sense, I'd rather have JJ Abrams.
To be honest,
because
regardless, it's not gonna touch the past anyway. So let's call it this.
All right, so
he'll do fine, but it's actually nothing gonna touch the past.
And then I'm gonna switch it to Samir. What do you think about Michael B. Jordan as Superman? Because we talked about this before, and you also expressed interest that you thought that would be an interesting choice. So why don't you tell me what you think about that?
I'd love to see an R2 Superman movie. I feel like it'd be sick. It's never been done before. And Michael B. Jordan's an amazing actor. So he killed Killmonger. He killed Adonis Creed. He's great. I feel like he'd kill Superman too.
I actually agree with Samir that Michael B. Jordan's not a bad choice, but personally for that one, I think that it's better to keep it Elseworlds. Like, put this part of like that Joker one-shot movie. You can go whatever you want with it and do your thing. So, like, Umar, I'll ask you this one. What do you think about that idea that if they do make a Superman movie with Michael B. Jordan, that it's not Clark Kent, but it's a different Superman in its own little universe?
It'll be cool to see, but like, yeah, it'll be cool to see. Like, it's all a part of the whole. It's a part of the whole Superman character. So like, it would be cool to see. And then at the same time, as a fan, do I care right now? The answer is no. I don't care right now. I would rather see, like, I'm more interested in seeing them put Kal-El to the screen. I'm more interested in that. I don't really care too much about this whole. As long as it's an Elseworlds thing, I'm fine. Keep it separate. Keep it Elseworlds.
And that's what Michael B. Jordan said in an interview early in the year. They asked him, "Do you want to be Superman?" He said that I'm not going to say yes or no, but I'm not going to play Clark Kent. Like, I'm not playing Kal-El. I'm playing a different Superman, Similar to Miles Morales, like, Miles Morales is not Peter Parker, but Spider-Verse stands on its own 2 feet.
I think that's good because, nobody wants to see, regardless of the actor, nobody wants to see another origin story that, Superman's leaving Krypton and he's growing up in Smallville and that whole thing. Like, we've seen that so many times. Like, if you're going to have this guy be somebody else, I think that... And a lot of the complaints, and maybe we talked about it also in a podcast, but we were also kind of shaky on it, that do we need a Joker solo movie? So there's a lot of things like that. And then in terms of JJ, when it comes to reboot versus not reboot, I think if JJ does reboot Superman, I think he's not going to do an origin. I think he's going to do like Matt Reeves, where it just takes place somewhere in Batman's journey, where Matt Reeves not doing how Bruce Wayne became Batman again. Instead, he's just picking up somewhere in the middle. And that's, I think, if JJ's going to reboot Superman, I think he's going to do that too. Personally, I don't think he's going to reboot. Especially if he brings Chris Terrio. Because Chris Terrio is writing the script for Rise of Skywalker. So he already has some good relations. And like Umar said, JJ is very good friends with Zach. And he's neighbors with Larry Fong. So
J.J. Abrams is an amazing director. There have been so many talks of him, wanting to direct a Superman movie or getting the chance to, and I feel like he'd be great to direct a Superman movie. As for if I want Henry Cavill to be in it or not, I do want him to be in it. I don't know if he'd do it, but he is our Superman. Like, from we loved Man of Steel, so yeah, I'd want to see him in a sequel or another movie.
CEU, right? So I guess now let's get to the final point, and this is the last thing I will talk about on this matter, and that's the Snyder Cut. And Variety obviously is going to say what they have to say, and they're pushing the WB kind of agenda on it, and they're saying there's no Snyder cut, it's a pipe dream. But we can save that section for another podcast so we can keep it more Superman focused. Do you think, and I'll give whoever they want, who wants to go first, do you think the reason Henry Cavill did not say hashtag release the Snyder cut is because he's hoping that JJ picks him as Superman?
Yes, probably. But at the same time, it doesn't make any sense because it makes sense from an actor standpoint because like Ben Affleck is gone, so it's easier for him to tweet that. Gal is doing 1984, and I think that's it. If it does really well, maybe they'll do a third one. But then, like these are all actors that are on their way out. Jason Momoa, he's gonna do Aquaman, but like he's a loose lip person anyways. He just says things. So like the studio can't really control him, right?
Yeah.
Especially after he made $1 billion. Henry Cavill, he's in that weird state where he loves the character so much, where he wants to be the character, but because the last 3 movies, as we saw in his last interview, he said Man of Steel was a good starting point. Batman Superman is a Batman movie. That was his nice shot at Zack Snyder. And then he said Justice League didn't work. So, like, he can't be as open with what he's saying, even though we would like him to be. And at the same time, it's weird because J.J. Abrams is friends with Zack Snyder. So it's like, you think he would give a shit if you said release the Snyder cut? Like, do you think he'd actually care?
Yeah, maybe it's more that Warner Bros. Might be like, oh, you said release the Snyder cut? Well, we're going to tell JJ not to cast
it.
you.
It makes sense if you're trying to figure out his mentality because he's the only one on shaky ground. Ben is gone. Ray is like pretty much gone as well. So they have no trouble, like Uma said. Gal and Jason.
Even Ezra Miller kept silent. I mean, no one has asked him yet, but
yeah.
like,
he's not even on social media. So.
Yeah, he's on social media, but he has a Flash movie to go. Yeah.
And Gal and Jason, they're secure in their roles. So they all feel comfortable saying, but Henry, he's on in between there. He doesn't know if he's out. He doesn't know if there's a chance he could be back. So I think he's thinking that, if I say it, maybe WB will get turned off about me or they'll get angry, so he's going to just stay silent.
Yeah, I mean, personally speaking, I think we're all a little disappointed that Henry didn't show up on Sunday because, listen, they got like 870,000 tweets without Henry Cavill. You put Henry in the mix, Instagramming, release the Snyder cut with a Superman photo, that would hit him 1 million easy. Maybe 1.1. And maybe it would have made a difference in whatever negotiations are happening, So I think, and we can have another discussion with the Snyder cut this week more like carefully and kind of comb through the details, but just keep everything Superman focused. I do think that that Henry Cavill is torn between what his management, what his agent wants him to say, Danny Garcia, and Danny Garcia is producing Black Adam. So in Black Adam, Dwayne The Rock Johnson, there's a lot of rumors that Superman might show up in that movie. So I think maybe if Henry Cavill's management team has a plan that, we're going to cameo in Black Adam, and then Superman will be seen by everyone in theaters, and then suddenly J.J. Abrams will be like, let me continue the universe, then they'll be happy. Because this is what they told James Gunn. When James Gunn was hired by Warner Brothers, they told him, do you want to reboot Suicide Squad or do you want to keep Suicide Squad? And he said, I'll keep it. He'll keep Amanda Waller, he keeps Harley Quinn, he keeps Captain Boomerang, he keeps Rick Flag. So he kept like 4 or 5 of the same actors and he continued it where they offered him both. So I think Warner Brothers will also offer JJ both options that, do you want to reboot Superman or do you want to keep Superman? And Henry Cavill thinks that, if I showed up in Black Adam, then suddenly they'll want me. But I think, I'm speaking for all 4 of us here, if the Snyder Cut came out and it did really well, or even if a lot of people watched it on HBO Max, of course it'll help Henry's chances. But for some reason, Henry thinks that if the Snyder Cut comes out, my chances as Superman goes down. I'm not sure why he thinks that, but that's something he believes.
That's because he knows that people won't look. I think his Justice League film is still gonna be just as dark, not just as dark, but it's gonna be dark. Like, it's not gonna be like, it's a 3.5 freaking rated R crazy movie. It's not.
But we saw from the 2 Superman scenes that when he's talking to Alfred, when he's coming out of the fortress,
he has
hopeful.
that. He has that hope. He has that optimism, but he's still in that world of darkness, right?
Yeah.
And I think Henry Cavill just has a turn off when it comes to that. Like, I think he just doesn't like the fact that he can't save kittens and kiss babies. So
he wants to be Christopher Reeve really badly, and I think that's one of the reasons why he kind of jumped at the chance to do the Joss Whedon reshoots, because he felt that Whedon is giving him the Reeve Superman. But in reality, if you compare Christopher Reeve Superman and Joss Whedon Superman, There's very big differences, and one is still a cartoon, and Christopher Reeve. Look, I like Henry Cavill, but you cannot replicate Christopher Reeve. He has a different kind of charm in the role of Superman, and as much as Henry wants to be that, he'll never be that. So, like, my personal advice to Henry would be, don't try to copy something you'll never be. Like, be your own man. And Zach was taking him in his own direction to be his own man. And instead, he's chasing the ghost of Christopher Reeve to become that, And not to make a basketball reference, but this is like, not everyone has to chase Michael Jordan to be great, Like, everyone can be great on their own and stand on their own 2 feet. Like, Kobe Bryant was an imitation of Michael Jordan, but the reason why LeBron has a chance to surpass him is because he's his own person, did things differently. But for some reason, Henry Cavill thinks the only way to be Superman is to be Christopher Reeve, and I'm sorry, he doesn't have the acting chops or even the sensibility to do it.
Agreed.
So, what do you guys think about all of this? Do you want J.J. Abrams to direct the next Superman movie? Where do you stand on Michael B. Jordan as Superman? And what do you think, how do you think this all affects the Snyder Cut? Let us know in the comments below. From myself, from Zion, from Umar, and from Samir, this is the Faruqi Bros. We'll see you next time. Peace out.